Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another presentation of the National Sim Racing League Association, presented by Diesel Laptops here on VSPEED. Familiar cast up here in the booth tonight. I'm your lead-in producer, Morgan Cook, alongside me, Daniel Cunningham. Of course, in that color commentary chair, you are watching VSPEED. Check us out, vspeedsim.com or at vspeedsim on X. Cameras, of course, provided by Dougie Beard. Daniel, Richmond, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, Morgan. This is definitely going to be a good race tonight. I actually got to call an ARCA race over in another one of our VSPEED series just a few weeks ago, and I gotta say, it was a lot different than I remember Richmond being before they did the rescan and did a lot of updates to it. Became a very multi-groove track as we take a look at our track info for Richmond Raceway down in Richmond, Virginia. Actually, my home track as well, not too far away from me. 3/4 of a mile in length, 14 degrees of banking in the turns, 8 on the front straightaway. D-shaped oval opened back in October 12th of 1946. A couple different versions of it. Used to be a half mile. They reconfigured it to 3/4 of a mile. But yeah, it was really interesting with that last race that I was able to call, Morgan, that the groove really moved up to the top side. It became a multi-groove racetrack. So curious to see if that plays out again tonight with a lot of the side-by-side action we saw in that previous one.
Absolutely. I'm very curious to see what it's going to look like here the rest of the way. The rest of the way in the season as well. Richmond, Bristol, Michigan, Lucas Oil, and Las Vegas going to be the remaining races on the schedule. I mean, that's quite a class of racetracks. 3 short tracks, a 2-mile super speedway-esque track, and a 1.5 mile to close it out in Las Vegas. Should be a lot of fun when we get there. Quick look at the point standings. No changes up front. Cartledge leads Lewis. SP, Montgomery, and Cochran, your top 5. We are under a bit of an interesting situation here, however, folks. Bit of a rain delay-esque situation occurring right now. A new session is going up as we speak. There were some critical settings that were missed. So we will be hanging out here just on the stream trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So do stick with us here. We're gonna go and put you guys on hold for a little while here, and we'll be back with an update when we have one. But for right now, we are making a new session. Rain delay currently in effect. We will be back here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody. Still no update on that new server, but we thought let's give you guys something to listen to here more than just that wonderful elevator-esque music that we listened to there on the intro. So let's talk a little bit more about this racetrack. I mean, they call this place Racing Perfection and the Action Track. Daniel, do you want to give us a little bit of insight as to why?
Yeah, kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, Morgan. It can get multi-grooved, especially with it being more of like a day race. The track just seems like it widens out with these ARCA cars where you can really move around, kind of search for some clean air, try to make some moves happen. It's just a really difficult track to drive. You're going to be fighting loose on exit. It's really easy to light the tires up, especially off of turn 4, kind of puts you in the mind a little bit of like an Iowa or a North Wilkesboro. Just the turn kind of gets a little off camber, the car gets a little light. So it's a driver's track where you can make a lot of things happen, and it really rewards being patient, taking care of your tires. So just a lot of different ways that you can get around this place.
And it's funny that you mentioned Iowa because this racetrack was the inspiration for Iowa. Rusty Wallace, always good at Richmond, thought, hey, if I'm going to build a short track, it's going to have a lot of characteristics like Richmond, and Iowa certainly does. Obviously, that 7/8 of a mile racetrack, I think that's how long it is, something like that, is a little bit wider than Richmond, a little bit more aggressive on that progressive banking, but the same sort of idea, same sort of characteristics of this racetrack. And we saw a race here on VSPEED earlier in the week. You were probably watching, everyone. I expect that you were for the Mystic Truck Series, and we saw a lot of great two-wide racing all the way throughout that event. And I really expect to see that again here this evening. It's just going to be curious to see when we go back racing what it's going to look like out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned the rain delay. Just like we have with real-life rain delays, it's going to change the track state and everything, too. These guys had an hour of practice in the prior session, putting down rubber on the track, moving the groove around a little bit. But unless they build the new session to start off with a specific track state, it's basically going to be a green racetrack again. So that'll definitely play into it as well.
Definitely, and it's definitely going to be very curious to see what we're going to find out altogether, because again, we're learning this with you, ladies and gentlemen at home. We don't know exactly what's in store for us either. And let's have a look at that schedule again, bring it up here on the screen. Obviously, we are here on August 30th here at Richmond. Next week is Bristol, Michigan, Lucas Oil, and Las Vegas. Any of those racetracks in particular speak to you, Daniel?
The one that speaks to me the most is next week at Bristol. I'm disappointed that I'm actually going to miss that one, Morgan. So I'll be out of town that weekend. But Bristol, one of my personal favorite tracks. It's a really fun place to race. Again, kind of reminds me of some of the things that we like about Richmond, that you can move around, run a couple different grooves, the really fast lap times that you run there in 15 seconds. So it just so much can happen in such a short period of time. And especially from up here in the broadcast booth, there's never a shortage of things to talk about, things to look at whenever you go to Bristol.
Absolutely, basically turns into the world's fastest conveyor belt, to the world's fastest half mile down there in Bristol. Definitely quite the racetrack. Then something completely different in Michigan, wide open, 2 mile massive racetrack. In these cars that don't have a ton of power, see a lot more of a drafting race than I think we're probably expecting. And I'm curious as well just to see how intriguing that one is, because we've seen some great racing on the mile and a half this year, and I don't think Michigan will disappoint either.
No, I think you're spot on with that. And out of those remaining races, I'm looking at that penultimate race at Lucas Oil as kind of the wild card out of this. I've run a handful of league races at Lucas Oil. It is a very challenging racetrack. It's high groove dominant. There's not a lot of banking though, so it's really hard to make passes there. And just from personal experience, the races at that track tend to get a little bit wild and unpredictable. So that's one that, as we get down here closer to crowning our champion, that could really have a big impact on how the rest of the season plays out.
And then, of course, your champion's going to be crowned in Las Vegas, if not beforehand. This is a full race championship system. So Las Vegas, obviously, it's in basically every oval league. It's a super popular racetrack. Mile and a half, 1.5 to 2 grooves. You can run the high side if you really need it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great racetrack. I've had success there. I've had some disappointments there as well, but it is a very fitting place to end a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that the championship may be crowned. Before we get to that point, if you've got it, let's take another quick look at that point standing as we currently sit. I'm really looking at about that fifth place driver, Jacob Cochran. To me, that's kind of where the cutoff is. Not saying that, Mark Cofield, Toby Ritters, on down the list a little bit, that they can't make a run, but sitting more than a full race back in points right now, to me, I feel like you have to be in that top 5 to really kind of make a run here at the championship.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's a pretty big gap between Cochran and Cofield. Not saying that it's not possible, just that it would be very difficult here with only 5 or 6 races left in the regular season. But that top 5 being separated by under 30 points definitely makes it possible. There's some drivers as well. You look at the right side of this graphic. From 11th to 20th is only separated by 30. It is quite possible that you could see a lot of drivers move around very quickly in terms of those positions. And there's some drivers on there too who haven't run all the races. Hodges has only been here for 2 or 3 events. He's up to 18th in points. So kind of tells you just how topsy-turvy that side of the bracket is.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different like groups almost of drivers that are close to each other in points. Mention that top 5. And from about 6th on down to I would say 11th, 12th, somewhere in that area. Not a whole lot of separation between those drivers as well, just between 60, 70 points or so. And you get on back a little farther from 13th down to 20th, separated by less than 20 between those positions. So regardless of where you're at, you still have the possibility of making up, gaining a lot of positions, or even losing a lot of positions here in the last handful of races.
Absolutely right. And the rain is lifting. The air tightens out on the racetrack. We're just about ready to go racing. We're going to take a quick step aside here, pay some bills, as it were, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. We're just about to get this thing underway.
The victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Just about there, folks. So close. Just have to get qualifying underway, and we may have a treat for it. We may watch some qualifying here. We'll see. We can watch some heavy hitters get out on the racetrack and put some laps down. But at this point in time, we are just kind of biding our time until this thing opens up, you can see it on the top right of your screen, top left of your screen, how about that. We have just under 5 minutes until we get to the grid. While we have a moment, let's watch some drivers take their laps here at Richmond. So this is one of the fastest drivers in practice, Jacob Cochran. Right now, Enoch Hancock is on the racetrack. Let's see what the 16's got for us.
Just what they are fighting as they get around these quarter-mile racetracks. Just a little bit of counter steer there, loose off of turn 2. This is really where I'm curious to see how well he can get through here. Gets really easy to light those tires up off of turn 4, but really solid and under control there on this qualifying run.
Yeah, fastest car in qualifying right now with a 21.50. See if he can make a little better on that here on lap number 2.
And he did indeed go just a little bit faster on that one, a 21.443. So second lap was the quick one for Enoch Hancock there.
Yeah, absolutely here. Let's have a look. Some drivers on the racetrack. Toby Ritters has yet to take a lap here. I guess we can put the ticker up on the screen with the drivers' qualifying times. There we go. So you at home can follow this live.
You can see so far 17 cars have taken a lap, make that 18 now as Ritters put in his first timed lap.
At P3.
And Toby Ritters goes to P3, as you had mentioned there. So really solid run starting off for him as well.
Look at the gap, though, between the top 2 and the rest of the field. 21.4, and then another 21.4. Then next best lap's a 21.5 to 21.6 in Cofield, and the rest of the field behind them. So still some heavy hitters to go. Jacob Cochran currently on the racetrack, as is Matthew Montgomery, Dustin Lewis. Those obviously 3 of the top 5 in points. Let's see, what does the 8 have in store?
Kind of lap down. Just 16th fastest right now, but it seems like most of these drivers are going faster on their second lap, so may have just been using that as a get up to speed, get some heat into the tires lap for Jacob Cochran. See what he can put in here on his second lap. Looks really stable and steady off of turn 4.
Top of the sheet by a 10th.
Yeah, really good lap out of the 8 right there. And I think that these guys that are waiting to go out are going to have a little bit better condition for it as well, Morgan. Let's take a look at the track conditions. Overcast, 71-degree day, 75 degrees for the track temp. But with it being overcast, I have a feeling the track may cool off just a little bit more and may put just a little bit more grip out there for those guys that do wait to make that lap.
Absolutely. And every driver has now taken time here. So that is fantastic news. We have another minute and a bit here until qualifying officially closes, that we can get to the grid. As you see on the left side of your screen, that is how they're going to start. That's your top 20.
And so far, it looks like actually everybody in our field has gone ahead and turned their lap times. So that is set. That field that we are looking at with Jacob Cochran up there on the pole, that is going to be locked in here once they do end up taking the grid and getting rolling here this evening.
Absolutely, and this will be an interesting one. Definitely. Cochran, of course, great on short tracks. He's won a number of them in the last handful of weeks between NSRLA and the Mystic Racing League and all 3 of their series, and even their lower short track series. He has been dominant, really catching a hot streak here. So the 8 is on fire. Also looking at the 16 and 61, of course, qualifying up in the top 3. And Pollock making his return to the racetrack, also in the chat, saying some nice things about yours truly. So definitely got to wish well the 92 machine here the rest of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate everybody out there in the chat. that's hanging out. Appreciate y'all sticking with us as we went through the earlier rain delay there. But we are just about ready for these drivers to take the grid and get this race fired off here for you this evening.
Absolutely, let's do it. Starting on the pole, we saw him run his lap. Jacob Cochran in the 8 will start in the first position. Second tonight, Enoch Hancock in the 16. Third was Zechariah Cartledge's teammate in the 61. Alex Pollock will start in 4th in the 92. Fifth, we Matthew Montgomery in the 9. Mark Cofield will start in 6th. Row 4 belongs to Toby Ritters in the 88. Aaron Espy, teammate, in the 3. In your top 10, Casey Bristow in the 98. Jared Green in the 15.
Taking a look a little bit further back here, we've got Michael Cole in the 43 starting in 11th, with Dustin Lewis in the 33 starting in 12th. Rolling off in 13th is going to be the 68 of Stephen McDonald, with Landon Charlo starting in 14th. 15th, the 02 of Caleb Jones, and in 16th this evening, Sean Warren. Starting in 17th, the 27 of Nicholas White, with MJ Palmer in the 2, outside in 18th. Rolling off 19th is going to be the 47 of David Moyer, with Gino Valenti, that 35 car, starting in 20th. In 21st, we've got Jeffrey Bourne in the 09. 2 is outside the 22 of Jamil Gills. Rolling off in 23rd is going to be the 07 of Justin Schaub. Starting in 24th, Aaron Wright in that 19. And rolling off shotgun on the field tonight is going to be the 5 of Stephen Gill, starting in 25th.
That's a look at your starting grid here this evening. Now we are high above this Richmond Raceway. Field slowly working through turns number 1 and 2 here.
Still got one more pace lap before we get rolling, but the lights are off on that pace car. We will be green here in just a few moments, with Jacob Cochran and Enoch Hancock up there on that front row. Morgan, I have a feeling we are in for a good race here this evening. Actually,
Absolutely.
a night race. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be a day race. As we take a quick look at our race analysis, 167 laps, 35 miles an hour on pit road. Got 5 sets of tires available, 2 green-white checker attempts, and 50 to 60 laps on a tank of fuel.
And that's the important one, that last point. Fuel is going to be an issue at some point in this race. I can almost guarantee it. We are green here in Richmond for the NSRLA ARCA Series.
Jacob Cochran gets out to a good early lead here. As you can see, Zechariah Cartledge in the 61 blinks out a little bit. Do turns 1 and 2, back on track now, side by side behind that 8 car for position. Pretty much the rest of the field looking 3 wide a few rows back. Think better of it for now, though.
This is on board of Jacob Cochran. How about Alex Pollock? He has already gained a spot here early in this race.
Doing a really nice job, and it looks like I didn't quite catch what happened early on, but Enoch Hancock, that was qualified on the outside of that front row, is in the back of the pack. I believe he did have an EOL. Not quite sure what it was for, but yeah, actually taking a look here, he was given an EOL penalty. So one of the fastest drivers on the evening, gonna have his work cut out for him, working his way from the back.
Certainly got a lot of drivers here who are just trying to work themselves through traffic, and that's going to be difficult here tonight. We've talked about this racetrack, high line, low line. It is so difficult to complete a pass anywhere at this facility because the guy on the outside can make your life miserable on the inside, and the guy on the inside is just there enough.
Yeah, plus when you run that top groove, you can carry just a little bit of momentum, stay a little bit harder in the gas on exit, and also carry a little bit more speed through the turn. So able to keep that momentum up and just make it a little bit difficult for the cars that are on the inside trying to pass. We see a good side-by-side battle for position here between the 15 of Jared Green, 98 of Casey Bristow. going to ride along here and take a look with Jared Green, see exactly what he is trying to do here. You can already kind of see the two different lines. The 88 running up just a little bit. I'm sorry, the 15 there rather. No, I'm sorry, I was right the first time. That is the 88 of Ritters. Excuse me. Running up just about a half a groove there and running just a little different line, trying to search around for some grip. But this track definitely gives you a lot of options on what you can do.
It certainly does, and what I really like about this track more so than others is the ability to change your line in the turn number one. You can go way out to the way wide. You can go tight to the yellow line and diamond the exit. You can do all sorts of stuff. It really does give you a lot of options, which makes this race a lot of fun as a driver, because you have the ability to change how the car handles by the way you enter and exit these corners.
Yeah, it definitely gives you some options when you're trying to make those passes, work your way up through the field. Another good side-by-side battle here between Montgomery and Pollock. Montgomery on the outside trying to make a little bit of ground. You can see Mark Cofield and Aaron Espy there behind. Looks like that high group is going to win out for right now. Mark Cofield in the 97 also trying to follow through and take that spot as well here inside the top five.
Oh, they're wrecking! Pollock with a big slide.
I think he was able to keep it pointed straight, but gonna lose a lot of track position in that. Just as we were talking about that battle, Morgan, just a big slide out of the 92 there. Wasn't sure if there was contact involved.
Oh, there was. He definitely got into him. Loose off the corner for Cofield. Let's go back and look at it again here. You see it right there. Cofield loose off the corner into the nose of Pollock. And Pollock drives down on the racetrack. Cofield's able to continue on in fourth.
Yeah, and a really good job out of Pollock there to keep that from being any bigger than it was. That could have been a night ender there for him. Even though they do have a fast repair, that could have been absolutely catastrophic, but able to continue on. But if I'm him, I'm definitely not happy about the way that played out, as it looks like, I believe it was that there was somebody that I just saw dropping down the running order. Was that Ritters?
Yeah, connection issue for the 88. I'm sure he'll get it sorted out here shortly, but yeah, these things happen when you race, thousands of miles apart from each other. You do have the odd, internet gremlin that can cause issues, such as our rain delay earlier today. You don't want those connections to get wet. That doesn't work that well.
You are indeed correct on that, as we see another battle for position here. The three of Aaron Espy able to get around Mark Cofield for the fourth position. So count that number 3 up now. He's kind of in that best of the rest, we'll call it, category right now, outside of the top 3. Going to try to set his sights on that 9 of Montgomery and see if he can get up there and maybe make a challenge for the lead.
Absolutely, and that's kind of how SB season has been all year. He's been fast, but he hasn't been the fastest at any point yet this season. He always seems to be about 4th, 5th fastest when guys like Montgomery, who's won a couple races, Cartledge has won, I don't think he hasn't won a race yet to this point, but Cochran has won a race or 2 as well. So those 3 have always been your top 3 for the most part, and now SB finds himself up in 4th, whereas he's also been most of the year.
Yeah, and I can speak from experience, that definitely gets frustrating after a while. When you're running that well, you feel like you've had the chance to win races, but there's just always that 1 or 2. Oh, as we see a car in the wall, I think that was the 02 of Jones. Sorry, not to lose my train of thought there, but there was somebody that had a pretty big hit to the wall off of turn 2. It was in fact the 02 right there as we look at this 3-car battle for position. And that just kind of highlights how difficult this track is to drive, and how easy it is to
he got it again.
Yeah, that is almost like we're watching a replay of what happened the last time. That corner narrows up incredibly fast off of 2. So multiple laps in a row there, contact for the 02.
And you got this gaggle of cars here, Cofield and Espy leading the way. Then you got Ritters, Green, Bristow, Charlo, and we're riding up with Dustin Lewis. It is so frustrating to be in a line like this. You think, I can go out there and I can pass all those cars. doesn't really work like that. You try, and then you hung up behind somebody, and it just becomes a very frustrating ordeal the rest of the way here, trying to get around this group. As you can see, Bristow clearly faster than Green on corner exit, but he just can't quite get around him. Now, 15's going to go to the top side, make it more difficult on the 98. Can we clear down into 1? Interesting.
You can see just how much the 15 is able to drive it in there on the outside and then carry that momentum off of turn 2. And you mentioned it, Morgan. This is when it can get frustrating. This is when you start to see some guys maybe overdrive just a little bit, trying to complete those passes. Sometimes you'll have contact take place with that. So this is definitely a track that requires patience. As you can see, contact there between the 98 and the 15. So just as we were talking about it, it comes to fruition there.
Yeah, and again, the 98 stuck on the bottom. I mentioned you don't want to try and make a pass. This is why. Oh, he's going to turn Charlo. Oh, he right hooked him into the fence. Oh my goodness, Landon Charlo just got his day ended. Caution is out, and I cannot imagine the 46 is going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, we can see it there live and in person, but let's go back and take a look on the VSPEED instant replay. We were watching this battle for position as it took place. 46 on the outside, trying to work his way through with Landon Charlo, and I don't necessarily know if it was intentional. I mean, I don't think it was intentional that early. I think it was just he was trying to get up. The 98 was trying to get up in line there to prevent from losing another position as he had just done, and just misjudged it just a little bit there. But the 46 definitely not going to be happy about that incident.
I think it's a case of, I mentioned just recently here, that turn 1, you can run different lines into that corner to try and change the way you do things. And I think all that happened was the 98 was going to try and take a wider line than the 46 kind of expected. And obviously 46 is going to get the worst of it in this case. Pit stops underway. Cofield's on pit road. So is Pollock. Stephen McDonald, of course, Charlo, and Justin Schaub have all hit the pit lane. We're going to take a quick step aside. We will be back right after this. You've been watching the National Sim Racing League Association. Don't go anywhere. Back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what has been a bit of a herky-jerky start to this one here at Richmond. Of course, with the rain delay making things take a little bit longer than we have expected. 27 laps into this 167-lap event. At least that's a scheduled distance. We do have those 2 green-white checkers that we could end up using here. We're under, of course, our first caution of the day. No lead changes. Cochran has led every lap from the pole. I believe we're about to go back racing here. Pace lights out on that pace car. Been a fun one so far.
Indeed it has, as they are lined up 2 by 2. Jacob Cochran going to be the control car yet again for this restart. Green flag is in the air. Good jump for the 8 car. They are going to be side by side between Montgomery and Cartledge for position for P2 behind our leader.
Absolutely. 61 looks like he's going to rocket ahead here off of turn 2. He will clear just like they were running previously. Now, The battle is back further in the field here. Look at this, 2 and 3 wide. 3 wide still.
And there was definitely some contact there, a little bit of door banging as they went through the turn. Still 3 wide. Enoch Hancock down there on the bottom. Driver that qualified P2, but had that EOL at the beginning. He's worked his way up into the top 10. The 2 of Palmer now trying to work his way a little bit farther up. And these guys are just, they are not giving up anything. They know that right now is the easiest and best time to try to make passes and gain positions.
And I mean, I got to give all these guys props for getting through that part of the racetrack 3 wide. That is not easy to do. So props to all those guys. And look at how hard we're driving further back in the field, just trying to make these cars stick. Unbelievable what we're seeing at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's definitely a lot of guys that are giving it everything they've got right now, trying to get these positions. And we did have a few drivers that were takers on pit road there that last time by. I believe it was about 6 drivers that came down. The highest running.
Oh, they're
of those
wrecking.
is,
Oh, two's around. Palmer.
we will hold that thought for just a moment. Palmer and I believe the 09 of Jeffrey Bourne also involved in that as well. May have been a separate incident that it looked like took place a little further up the road. But let's see what exactly happened here. Just as we were talking about this battle for position and the way these guys were racing, trying to get up through here. Just a little bit too hot into the turn for the 02, gets into the 2. I didn't see what happened to the 09 there of Jeffrey Bourne, but he was stopped down on the apron as well.
I think he caught the 19 here, who made contact as well.
And see, he is directly behind this incident that took place. Oh yeah, looks like they start checking up in front of him, and oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a crash quite like that before, where it like pulled that whole car over with the nose. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, and even more than that, it didn't look like all that hard of contact at first, but it actually ripped the entire nose off of the 09 car. So
it sure did.
That was big damage for Bourne there.
Very strange, very strange. We're going to take one more crack at fixing this paint scheme issue that we seem to be having here. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Be back in just a minute.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back here on VSPEED to Richmond. We do have the paint schemes fixed finally, thank goodness. Little housekeeping for you. First driver to pit under that first caution, Alex Pollock. He is currently in 11th position. There's the 92. First driver to pit on this most recent caution is Matthew Montgomery in the 9. Landon Charlo as well pit under this caution. They are 14th and 16th, respectively. I think we're about to go back racing here. Green flag is out again.
Jacob Cochran off to another good launch here on this start. Going to be again side by side for that P2 position between Zechariah Cartledge and Toby Ritters. Cartledge up on the top side, got a little bit of momentum here, not quite able to clear just yet. Aaron Espy closing in on this battle as well.
Definitely, and I know Ritters will absolutely make you work for it on a short track in another league. Him and I raced very hard trying to make it stick there at Five Flag Speedway, and he's a great short track racer. Falls back to third here. Then Espy, his teammate, right behind him, and Espy's got the pressure as well. And the driver who led the points for most of the season, Dustin Lewis, hanging out back here in fifth.
Yeah, really good run for Lewis. Been kind of quiet so far, just worked his way up into that top 5 position. And
3 wide again.
Yep, they are 3 wide, 4th position here. That's the new tires on that 9 car. Is Montgomery trying to make up some of that ground that he lost with coming in the pit under that caution?
Absolutely, and they're already 40 laps in for the drivers who haven't hit yet, so those tires will start to show their age. I'm curious to see if he can find some clean traffic, which, based on looking in front of Matthew Montgomery, will be very difficult. I'm curious to see what the time difference looks like. Well, Pollock went up in the fence.
Yeah, he did get in the fence there. I'm kind of surprised that these leaders have not yet pitted. Is Pollock in the fence yet again?
Oh, he's hitting it again. Oh, my goodness. Just an awful sequence.
That's going to bring out another yellow flag here between the 92 and the 07. Justin Schaub. Take a look on the instant replay.
Yeah, let's go all the way back. It started off with that 27 appeared out of nowhere, gave him a little bit of contact there. That's Nicholas White. He's in the fence trying to avoid it. I just don't think the 07 realized there was a car there still. Came up the racetrack, got Pollock, and scuffed that Black Diamond Designs machine.
Yeah, it seemed like he may not have gotten the spotter call there for the car on the outside. I believe you are 100% correct on that, Morgan. And it sounded like he even mentioned something to that effect on the race comms in the session as well, that it just never alerted him that there was a car out there.
Well, you mentioned leaders not pitting. Well, here's everyone on pit road now. Every one of the leaders brings it down to the pit lane. This is very close, as we mentioned earlier, to that pit window, 50 to 60. This will get you a fair ways in this race, at least to lap 100, where you can one stop it to the end. So smart move to pit right here.
Yeah, and I like the strategy that they're on. They haven't burned any tires to this point in the race, and I really feel like they're going to have some pretty good track position. It looks like there's only 7 cars that stayed out on this caution, so I kind of question why they maybe didn't pit a little bit earlier, but I think it's going to work out okay for them.
Agreed. The only driver I'm kind of nervous about is Stephen Gill, who has yet to hit pit road, period. Might come down this time. No, he won't. He is 7th on the old tires, has yet to hit the pit lane. The 6 in front of him pit 10 laps ago. Everybody behind him just hit pit road. I would be very nervous if I was Stephen Gill.
Yeah, I agree. You never want to be that last car out on old tires. It is going to be hard for him to maintain that position, but you know, we'll see how it plays out for him. See if maybe he can get it maybe 10 laps or so and then catch another caution. He might be able to then have the tire advantage, play a little strategy here.
Yeah, certainly possible. Will be interesting to see if he's able to do that. But right now, Landon Charlo, after pitting already 2 times, he's made more pit stops than almost anybody else here in the field. He is your leader. He will get lane choice here. Jared Green behind him in the YouTube machine. Going to be able to pick the opposite side. Bottom for Charlo, top side for the 15. Everyone else going to file in where they would normally start. Which line do you prefer at this racetrack, Daniel, to restart in?
I like being up on that high side. It just seems like you can make a little bit of time up there. If guys start to stack up in front of you, you have a little bit more options of where you can go to try to avoid things if calamity strikes. So I like the top groove, but if I'm in control of the race, I'm probably going to take the bottom every time. Agreed.
I think you can get a much better launch on the bottom, and then by the time you get to the start-finish line, it doesn't matter where you are because you've already cleared by 2 car lengths, and we're probably going to see it again here. We've already seen it a number of times into the restart zone. Yeah, he's able to clear by a large margin. Really no issue for the leader to clear.
Yeah, Charlotte with a really good jump there, but as you can see, Green in the 15 car able to hang with him pretty well there. There was one car up high in the back there.
That was Gillis.
Near the wall.
Or Gills.
And you are completely
Still
correct.
in the fence.
The sixth car.
Hard to miss it.
Indeed so. Definitely struggling with the handling of that car right now. And drop back. He was restarted in the top 10, I believe.
I think
and
he was
has dropped
third.
to the back here.
That was all the way back in 23rd, so definitely not the restart he was hoping for.
Take a look a little farther back here. Good side-by-side battles all over this track right now. So you can see the 02 of Jones, the 19 of Wright side-by-side, and that is the first car on fresh tires. Right behind them, Cochran in that 8 car. Just nowhere to go right there as two drivers side-by-side in front, but you can see just what a difference those fresher tires makes, just how much more speed he's able to carry through the center of the turn through 3 and 4.
Absolutely, and riding on board with Cochran here, the one thing you want to see are cars in between you and that blue one right behind you. That's the second driver on new tires, Zechariah Cartledge. Really wants the 02 to go down and take that spot away. The 02 will not do it, but Cochran's going to try and put as much of a gap between him and the other fresh tires as he possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely, and just taking a look at the lap times that last lap around, even with battling for position, Jacob Cochran in that 8 car was a 10th faster, at least a 10th faster than any of our top 3 runners. So
Cartledge got put 3 wide. Espy going to try and make a move. He's on the fresh tires as well.
Yet Espy maybe thinking he might be able to use this.
Oh, the 19's around. Aaron Wright goes for a spin. Caution's out. That was shaping up to be an excellent battle for that second car on the new tires. Thwarted here by the 19 going for a spin.
And we'll have to go back and take a look at that one on the VSPEED instant replay. Just a big gaggle of cars here together. The 19 in behind the 61 there of Cartledge, 33 to his inside. It was actually Toby Ritters trying to go 3 wide there, got into him just a little bit, and around the 19 goes, nosed into the wall.
I want to look at that one more time. That's an interesting kind of Richmond unique situation because of how wide turn 1 is and how inviting it is to really drive it into the corner here. I mean, I'm watching the 16 at the back of your screen here. He is well behind. I guess he's two Ritter's quarter here, and I just don't think they realize the 19 to really be that slow into the corner. Nothing wrong with the speed he took, just wasn't expected, I guess, by the guys behind him. And with the 3 wide maneuver, there was not much he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, as you mentioned, that speed difference due to the tire difference as well. Aaron Wright was on a little bit older tires than the cars behind him. So that's, again, just a product of Richmond with the tire fall off here. You see that difference when guys get on these split strategies.
Absolutely. Let's have a quick recap of this one. 4 cautions, 1 lead change so far, working caution number 4 of the day. We'll look at the weather as well. We are down to 73 degrees in the track temp, meaning this place is cold. It is got a lot of grip in it, it looks like. I haven't seen cars really break loose in this race. It's just been contact that has really caused cautions to this point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not quite the same as what we had seen earlier when it was a little bit warmer out, and even in the prior session, I believe they were practicing in the day. So a little bit different conditions here than what we were initially going to see, but still a lot of good side-by-side racing, and the track being gripped up a little bit more can help these guys also to be able to keep that side-by-side since they got a little bit more throttle to play with also.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. You can kind of stab the throttle a little bit harder and just know there's more security in those rear tires rather than having to feather it and tiptoe around guys. And it makes you nervous to really race somebody if you don't know what the rear tires are going to do in any situation. But with how much grip these drivers seem to have, they're able to really be able to drive it deep into the corner and quickly accelerate from their apex positions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see which groove ends up winning out as we go through the rest of this race. I believe they should be getting.
We're on
should
1
have
degree.
the 1 to go
Yeah.
here. So we will be getting ready to go back green. Charlo taking the high side this time. A little bit of a change up from the last restart when he did take that bottom. So see how this works out for him.
He's got some right rear damage as well. You can kind of see it right there. It's a little scraped up for the 46. See if that has any impact on how he launches. Oh, that was that kind of questionable restart there. I don't know about that one. I think Race Control might have to have a look at that one later. That's at least in the short track ranks, a bit of a jackrabbit restart, I would call it. But that's for Race Control to decide, I suppose.
Absolutely, but that 8 car on those fresher tires, Jacob Cochran is now cleared up to P2 as we ride on board with him here. You see that right rear damage on the 46 really well there, as you had mentioned earlier. You just see he's able to drive in just a little bit deeper, but Charlo doing a really nice job through the center. But it looks like he lost just a little bit of momentum there on exit. I think Cochran's going to be able to make some pretty quick work of him here. So we've actually got a car around in the back. It's the 3 of Aaron Espy has spun. I believe he got tagged a little bit as well.
Yeah, heavy damage to the rear end of that car. And the right front, the left front doesn't quite look right. Go back and have a look at it here.
Yeah, sounds like some big contact for the 3. See Hermit crabbing there.
That was never going to work.
Yes, the queen.
You got to wonder why you make that move on lap 57 of 167. That was never going to work.
Yeah, and then the 2 also got caught up in that after the fact, just nearly nowhere for him to go. And I think that's actually where the majority of the damage for Aaron Espy came from.
Right.
Was when MJ Palmer came in.
Oh, man.
He walloped the wall off of 2, so already probably fighting a little bit of steering damage. And just wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, there's a
Nothing
27
really...
too. Oh, boy.
There was a lot more going on there than what initially met the eye, Morgan.
Yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Yeah, that is not what you want to see. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. But with all of that, the 46 car able to maintain the lead for now. Caution did come out before Jacob Cochran was able to clear. It's going to be interesting, though. We've seen that control car get out to those really good launches. But it's going to be interesting to see if Landon Charlo is going to be able to match that with Jacob Cochran having the tire advantage. So we'll have to see what happens with this next restart.
Yeah, for sure. I would really expect that you'll still be able to get that good launch. It's just going to be the question is, how long does it take for the 9-lap fresher tires to reel you in, and what happens when they do? I know what 2 tires does at this racetrack when you're on those 2 tires. You get about 10 laps before they start to give way. I'm going to expect it's probably similar within that 10 laps of the restart is when you're going to start to see big changes for position between the 46 and the 8.
Yeah, you are right with that. And one thing, too, now that we've had a couple of heat cycles on it, the tires could start to equalize a little bit, where it's not as big of an advantage for the 8, the 61, some of these guys that have come in and pit previously. So something else to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just over 100 laps to go here in Richmond, and if we go green like we did for the first probably 20 or 30 laps, I think this could go by very quickly. Buckle in, folks. We still have a couple pit stops, at least one to make before the end of the race. This is going to be a good one here the rest of the way.
Yep, absolutely, Morgan. As you can see, pace car pulling off onto pit road. 46 of Charlo going to lead them into that restart zone. Green flag is out yet again. A really good jump for Charlo, but not quite as far out in front as what we've seen on some of these other restarts. Jacob Cochran doing a really nice job there of hanging with him.
Oh, they're wrecking behind him.
Easily.
The 0-2, Caleb Jones. How did they not crash there? I think they're going to crash right here, though. Oh, my goodness. What is going on? We got cars all over the place, almost 4 wide into turn number 3. This is back in for around 20th position. Wow.
Yeah, it certainly was not for lack of effort there with the wreck.
They tried to wreck. They just didn't end up doing it.
Yeah, I think that's an old DW saying they wrecked, they
is.
just didn't hit anything.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, really nice job to hang on to it there. I'm with you. I don't know how they didn't end up wadding it up there.
Yeah, that's a crash 99 times out of 100. They just happen to find the one way that they don't end up backing him all up into the fence here. But we got a potential pass for the lead. Cochran gonna wrap that yellow line, get right to the door of the 46, but can't quite get it done. Maybe into turn number 1 he can find a little bit of grip here. He's got the 61 right on the back bumper. 61's gonna give him a shot in the middle. That's not gonna help things at all.
Yeah, 61 of Zechariah Cartledge able to carry a lot of speed through 1 and 2 there, just rolling the middle of the turn and almost got into the back. Maybe just a little bit of contact there with the 8 of Jacob Cochran. Really surprised how well Charlo was able to hold on with that tire disadvantage, but now Cochran able to clear to the lead. Battle is on for second as you can see them both getting loose off the turn as we look from the back of that 8 car.
Absolutely great work by Cochran to get by these guys, but they are struggling behind him. Cartledge got really tight off of turn 2, had a bit of a push-loose situation. He cannot clear Charlo, and they are all grouping up behind the 61 to try and get around him. Oh, they're both wiggling off the corner. 61's gonna have to make quick work because Cochran is already driven away by 0.8 of a second here.
Yeah, Cochran ready to get out of Dodge and leave the calamity behind, and I can't say that I blame him after those last few restarts that we had. Done a really nice job pulling out to that lead here, and Zechariah Cartledge not yet able to clear for that second position. The 15 of Jared Green is actually on older tires as well, equal to what Landon Charlo is, and it seems like he's actually starting to put a little bit of pressure here on Cartledge for 3rd place.
So I think what we're learning here is that 10-lap old tires don't make a massive difference if you have clean air. Because of course, Charlo, look out the front bumper. He has all the clean air he can ask for. He's got the 1 car in front of him, but Cochran is already 1.5 seconds away, so 1.2 seconds away here. So it's really not affecting the nose of this car very much. Whereas behind him, you know, they all have the dirty air from his machine, you know, impeding their downforce. As the 15 got a really good run there, he's actually going to get a really good chance to get around the 61 here, making a pass on those old tires.
Yeah, really impressive that he was able to get around Cartledge there with those tire differences that we've been talking about. And I think you're 100% right. It seems like if you can kind of hold on, get that clean air, you've got to have a bigger tire advantage than just the 10 laps. And then also with all the different cautions and heat cycles, that's playing a factor here as well.
For sure. I think the heat cycles are something that's definitely important here, as every time you have to restart and launch and heat up those tires and then cool them back off under caution, it kind of takes a little bit of the goodie out of the tire, a little bit of the speed out of the tire here, and equalizes to the older ones. So I think that is part of it as well. We got issues further back. Gino Volanti has found himself around 72 laps into this one. There's somebody's hood as well. Oh no.
I was going to say there's some parts and pieces strewn on the track. So we go back and take a look on the VSPEED instant replay. 16 of Enoch Hancock there gets around Volanti easily. Didn't see anything out of the order.
Oh, loose off the corner.
Yeah, loose off the corner. Aaron Espy was there, just really nowhere to go. Contact between the two. Volanti going to get the worst of it there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back and look at it here from the point of view of the 3. Aaron Espy.
Look on board here, as you mentioned, with Aaron Espy in that 3 car.
Yeah, really.
First for the 35, but that wall just tightens up so quick on exit. Not much you can do there.
To say really nothing that he could do. Just that car appeared in his lap, and that's whose bumper we saw on the racetrack. It was Espy. He's gonna have to get that one fixed. That's not good for it, as they say.
Yeah, these things definitely tend to drive a little bit better when they don't look like a modified. So
you're right.
I know the modifieds put on a good show here at Richmond, but less than ideal for the ARCA car.
unless we're going to start going multi-class style and have the modified division, you know, that could be interesting.
That could be a potential. You know, that would actually throw a nice wrinkle into things. We might need to make a fun race out of that.
Hey, coming soon on VSPEED. Keep it locked here. We got something in the works. Anyway, a few drivers hit pit road there, led by Zechariah Carlich. Saw him struggling to be able to pass drivers on those older tires. With his newer ones, he's going to go back to 13th. He'll have 30 lap newer tires than your top 5, and 15 lap newer tires than the handful in front of him. Everyone behind Zechariah from 13th all the way back. And the last driver on the lead lap, who is the last driver in the race, Jamie Gills, all just pit this time by. And that's one thing I want to mention too, Daniel. How rare is it that over halfway, or almost halfway I should say, through a race at Richmond, do we see every single car not only running, but running on the lead lap?
You know, this might be a first that I've ever seen that at Richmond. And I mean, it's not that we haven't had incidents. We've had a handful of cautions tonight, but you know, between the fast repair and then some of them just being spins, not really hitting anything, it's definitely a little bit different here, and it's allowing for these guys to do some different strategy plays too, which is nice.
Yeah, we're on our 6th caution here of the day. Working lap 75 will be coming to lap 76. Once the leader takes the green flag, here we go. Not sure why Ritters was so far away from Cochran. That's going to allow Cochran to get like an 8-car length lead into turn number 1. It is no contest for the lead this time around.
Yeah, and I've seen that a few times tonight out of that outside lane where they're hanging back almost an entire row. Not quite sure if it's just drivers trying to time it up to get a run or just hard to judge where you're at.
I think
with going through the turn, but
part of it is that you have the restart zone. You only have 5 mile-an-hour buffer to work with, and you can't speed over it. Typically, drivers will roll into the restart zone at that maximum speed here. I believe it's 50 miles an hour, 45, something like that. The driver on the outside has a longer way to go, but they can't increase their speed at all, which means they're going to have to lag back off. I think that's what the problem is drivers don't want the black flag. As the caution's out, Alex Pollock is around. They don't want the black flag for speeding and have a restart violation.
Well, see, Morgan, that's why they pay you the big bucks around here, because I completely forgot about this restart zone. So thank you. That explains my confusion. But anyway, we're going to take a look at the cause of this caution and just running out of real estate there between the 92 of Pollock and the 19 of Aaron Wright. The 92 definitely getting the worst of that there with a pretty hard hit to the wall. But that is going to bring out our 7th caution here of the evening.
Good news is for Pollock, he still has that fast repair, so he can get that thing fixed up and it'll be just fine. Good as new here in about 25 or so seconds. We're going to take a quick step aside. You're not going to miss anything with a Juicy Spider side by side. Don't go anywhere. Be back right after this. Welcome back here on VSPEED to the National Sim Racing League Association ARCA Series here at Richmond. Daniel Cunningham and myself, Morgan Cook, up here in the booth. If you haven't already, now is a fantastic opportunity to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of this great racing action that you can't get anywhere else. All these drivers came out here specifically so that they could put on a show for you, and they have so far here. This is caution number 7, I believe, of the race at lap number 81, and just approaching halfway, Daniel. You know, what do you think of this one so far?
It's definitely been interesting. You know, we had that, had little decent long green flag runs there to start the race off with. It's been a little bit of a choppy going, we'll say, here in this recent stretch that we've had with some cautions, but a lot of different tire strategies going on here. So still plenty to cover, still a lot of intrigue on how this one's going to play out.
Absolutely, there's no question that there's a lot could happen here the rest of the way. Another great jump by the 8. He's got that restart zone dialed in.
Yeah, he's definitely been on top of his game when he has been the control car this evening. The 8 of Jacob Cochran out to another good lead here. Toby Ritters, Sean Warup side by side for second behind him. And there is just an absolute gaggle of race cars here. Zechariah Cartledge, I see Stephen McDonald in the 68 is one of those.
3 wide and 1. I don't like that.
But Zechariah Cartledge is going to send it in on the outside. A little bit of contact with the 27.
Oh.
Able to get through there, but man, that was a bit of a risky maneuver.
Yeah, that's living on the edge.
You know what?
You're right.
I can't blame Zechariah Cartledge. He's got those fresher tires right now. You got to make hay while the sun shines.
You're right. You got to go.
I can't blame him a bit.
At this point in time, you have to go. He's already up to 9th, and he's got a decent amount of traffic still right in front of him, and they're all double wide as well, so you got to pick them off where you can.
Yeah, absolutely. See, as we ride on board here with the 61 Cartledge, Stephen McDonald in the 68 ahead of him is on 43-lap-old tires. Zechariah on 12-lap-old tires, so quite the difference there between the two of them. You can see one of the ways, actually, the car's getting in the wall there, a few cars up, everyone able to keep it straight for now, though. But you can see it on the onboard there with the 61 of Cartledge. One of the ways you can kind of try to set up passes here, kind of diamond that turn, cut down in the middle as he's going to go 3 wide again. Man, that just makes me nervous watching it.
Oh, it didn't work.
Oh, no.
They're all wrecking. Charlo's in it too. There's 5, 6, 7 of them. It's a track blocker. They're all in it. The whole field's wrecking. Oh, my goodness.
47 is in it. Aaron Espy able to snake his way through along with Mark Cofield, a few others there, but that, you were just in the process of saying, I don't think it's going to work.
And it didn't.
And
it sure didn't.
I thought they had it cleared. I was getting ready to say they made it work, and they proved me wrong. As we go back and take a look, Stephen McDonald just hooked there by the 61 again. Nothing malicious with it, just going for everything they can. The 61 trying to go 3 wide there. Wasn't quite clear yet to be able to go all the way up to the wall, and just everybody just running out of real estate.
We're going to watch this from Aaron Espy's point of view. This is happening. They're entering turn 1 right now. You can see the 3 wide on the far left side of your screen. So they're like, 30 car lengths in front of Aaron Espy. See, they're wrecking down the backstretch, cars everywhere. Do the right thing, back it down, and just find the hole. There it is. Yeah, that's textbook how you get through a crash. Any racetrack.
That is actually really impressive that he was able to get it slowed down. Sometimes the slow wrecks like that are the ones that are harder to avoid, because you think, oh, everybody's stopped, everybody's done wrecking, I can just roll and get through here, and then next thing you know, somebody rolls down in front of you. So
absolutely,
nice job by him to get through that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And leaders on pit road, Jacob Cochran, Toby Ritters have hit the pit lane. I think what they're seeing here is with the amount of cautions we've had, you can start to stretch it to the end from here. So we're only 77 laps away from finishing this one. You can go, if we go back to race analysis, 50 to 60 under green flag conditions with all the cautions. Each caution lap add about a lap and a half to that. So we can probably get close enough, maybe more like 2 laps and a lap and a half. We can get close if we continue to pace here in this one.
Yeah, and even if it did go green to the end, I think with the way that the tire fall off is, even though it doesn't necessarily aid in passing, you may be able to back off and save enough, even if it is under green. So, yeah, I like it. I like staying out, or I like coming in here. This may be the last time that you come down and pit. So, really, really good decision here. I like it.
It also gives you the opportunity, since the tire fall off is minimal, you could probably fuel only if you really needed to. That would loosen it up significantly if you're fighting tight. Car doesn't want to turn off the corner, which we've seen happen a lot here off of turn 2. You can put some just fuel in it, leave the hot rear tires on it, and it'll definitely make it a little bit edgier to drive. It'll be a little bit more on edge, a little bit looser, and that can help you on the short run if you only got a couple laps to make it to the end.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some new players up here at the front. Enoch Hancock worked his way back up to the front here. Going to be the control car with Caleb Jones in second, Matthew Montgomery in third. Mark Cofield, haven't really talked a lot about him since the beginning of the race, back up in fourth. But we're back under green. Enoch Hancock with a really nice jump there on that restart. He's going to clear for the lead as they head down into turn 1 and 2. Mark Cofield moves up to third in front of Matthew Montgomery. Jones still in second.
Gills has an issue here. He's up in the fence again. They're 4 wide down the backstretch. He's trying to run that extreme high line. It's just not quite working out for him. Oh, there goes the 15 for a big slide.
It looks like the 15 was able to get it pointed back in the right direction. No caution, able to maintain what he was doing there, but yeah, he was definitely sideways down that front straightaway. See Zechariah Cartledge on the inside here looking for another position. And I believe, was that the
43 at Charlo, or 46, sorry, had a penalty. We got black flags all over the place. I think there was something happened on the restart. The driver didn't go. I think it was the 6. And since he was on the high side, everyone got a penalty for passing below him. Penalty is not being cleared at the moment. Oh, Cofield's going to go around off the nose of the 9. No caution because he's in the grass. Oh, that is not what you want to see if you're Mark Cofield.
Yeah, no caution there. As you mentioned, Cofield spun down into the infield grass off the racing surface. So nothing with that. And Mark Cofield loses every bit of that track position that he had gained up to that point. And real quick, I'm not sure if it was those black flags were actually the result of the stack up on the restart. We do have the incident
points.
penalty.
You're right. Yes.
So I think that all of those are just incident point penalties that these drivers were having to serve for being caught up in a few different crashes tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. We turned that off for Watkins Glen last week, but it's back on here for the ovals. Not that you would know by the way this race has gone, but they are out there. Those incident points, of course, costing championship points throughout the season. Again, not that you would notice, but they're out there nonetheless. And yeah, drivers getting black flags because of them. You accumulate too many, 20, I think it's 20, 25, and 30, give you varying levels of penalty to achieve those. So definitely impacting some drivers more than others here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You reminded me of the restart zone. I got you on the incident points. So we've got each other covered up here in the booth.
And one driver's got the field covered right now. How about Enoch Hancock? He is out by 2.2 seconds. Haven't really seen him up at the front all day. But he's showing he has some speed in this car. He's at one of the fastest laps of the day at a 21.5 just a few laps ago. Let's see what he's doing behind the wheel.
Yeah, take a look on board here with the driver of the 16. Just doing a really nice job wrapping the bottom there through 1 and 2. Just a touch of counter steer on the corner exit there. Pretty typical for Richmond. Running up just a little bit higher through 3 and 4, trying to keep a little bit more momentum. And I think that's the biggest thing that's impressing me with running on board with him here. It's just he's really keeping that wheel fairly steady. See every now and then just a little twitch to get it to rotate, just a little bit of counter steer, but for the most part, he's not really fighting it, just really smooth throughout these laps.
Absolutely. Let's compare this to Toby Ritters with his onboard.
Take a look here as as we look at Toby Ritter's with, I think I've mentioned this before, one of the coolest sim rig setups that I've seen. He's got that webcam set up so we can see everything that he is doing in behind the wheel here tonight. You can see just a little bit more counter steer, a little bit more twitching that wheel back to the right out of the 88 of Ritter's, but still not a whole lot of inputs that he's doing here. Of course, as I say that, he cuts it pretty hard back to the right there, kind of counter steer, but it seems like the guys that are consistently running fast and running up front are just holding a nice steady wheel here this evening.
And that's really how you run Richmond. You got to be smooth here. This is a long run racetrack. You have to be good on the long run. You got to take care of your stuff, smooth throttle, smooth on the brakes, smooth on the steering. It adds up over time, and it'll absolutely help you get in front.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Richmond so much, because, you know, you get those long green flag runs. It really rewards being patient, taking care of your stuff. But then again, if you get those spree of cautions like we saw earlier, it also can reward those that are more aggressive and can make those moves on the short run speeds as well.
Yeah, definitely right about that. I mean, there's a time and a place for both of those types of driving. You just got to understand when those situations are, because if you try and save too much, you know, on short runs, you're going to get eaten alive, but you try and go too hard and be aggressive on those longer runs, you're really going to struggle with the pace, and knowing which to do is one of those things you learn with racecraft, and it's very difficult for a lot of drivers to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we do have another yellow flag out here. Didn't quite see what may have happened.
I think it was Landon Charlotte.
I believe you are correct with that as we go back and take a look at the instant replay for this. See, Charlotte looks like he's just a little bit loose there, gets into the wall off of 2.
Yeah, I think he was the caution.
Yeah, just ends up looping it around there. Still able to keep it fairly straight there.
I think he just slowed down enough in the racetrack that it triggered the caution, even though probably wouldn't if it was a live race control. And then I think he is not pleased right now. You can tell he's 2 laps down. He's just messing around at this point.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that. And
in fact,
it's one of those
left,
things.
actually. He's had enough.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct on that. And it's one of those things that, you know, iRacing, sometimes it makes you wonder how they throw cautions for some and not others. But I think just the combo of slowing down just enough with the car pretty sideways was enough to trigger the yellow there.
Right about that. And this is where it gets interesting, because drivers pitting now can for sure make it to the end of this one. You got to wonder, is this the call? Should you pit here, period, no matter if you pit 10 laps ago or not, or 20 laps ago or not? I am curious to see here if this is going to end up winning the race for somebody.
Yeah, if I'm somebody like Jacob Cochran, Toby Ritter's, really anybody that's probably in that top 5, I don't think I can give up the track position right now. It's only going to be about a 20-lap difference on tires for those top 5, and we've seen clean air is king here once you get up to a certain point through the field. But, you know, if I'm a little bit farther back, and especially if it's, you know, somebody like Mark Cofield that we saw that spun and it didn't bring out a caution, your tires are already angry, you've already lost your track position, you might as well come down and put 4 on and see if you can make something of it.
I'm just saying, because you're going to for sure be able to make it to the end on fuel. Cochran, Ritters, Bristow, Cole, Pollock, Volanti, and Schaub are still questionable on fuel to the end here. I don't believe they can make it. So that's where I wonder if maybe pitting here gives you those extra 20 laps of fuel and you can get to the end without any questions.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I still think that those guys that didn't pit, that pitted 21 laps ago, with the cautions, they may still be able to make it as we're looking. I guess that would put them about 80 couple laps or so on fuel. So that would be a little bit of a stretch, but so far tonight, that 8 car of Cochran has made the right calls with the strategy. So I'm going to trust him for this one and see that I'm going to trust him that he's making the right decision for right now.
Yeah, he's definitely won some races here at Richmond, including one earlier in the week in the Mystic Truck Series right here on VSPEED. And if you haven't already, you know, one more plug. What's it going to hurt? take an opportunity to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of this racing action. Morgan and Daniel up here with you in the booth, and camera presented by Dougie Beard. Don't know if I mentioned that yet or not, but I will get that in just in case. Appreciate everything that's going on here at VSPEED.
See, pace car is off. Jacob Cochran, the control car, gets out to another good jump here, as we have seen all throughout the evening. Side by side for second, side by side for third, fourth. They are thinking about 3 wide here through 1 and 2.
How about 2 rows deep?
More than thinking about it. They are going to pull it off. And
oh, they're not. They're wrecking behind them.
Oh, that was Mark Cofield in the 97 around. The 19 is involved. The 6. That was not going to work very well with 3 wide. This may be the action track, but a little too much action there with 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Let's take another look at this.
So it started, Valenti slid up the hill, and the 9's on new tires. So is the 16. Yes, the 7 just didn't quite realize where it was on the racetrack. 27 has no brakes. Neither does the 5, it seems. And 97 just really got tagged in the right rear. Didn't do anything wrong, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, that's frustrating for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like the 19 of Aaron Wright is showing a black flag right now, most likely due to the incident point limit, as we mentioned earlier. So it's going to be a penalty that he has to serve here as a result of that. It's right on board, and just, you see, it's just an absolute parking lot in the top 2/3 of the track there. Just nowhere to go when you're that far back, or when you got that many cars rather stopped in the middle of the track. So yeah, that was not pretty, Morgan.
Yeah, the big hole on the bottom of the racetrack is definitely a start, but it is what it is. As you can tell, there are some racing incidents I have little patience for, if you haven't noticed up here, Daniel.
Yeah, that's a good one. It takes a lot when I'm up in the booth to just get me to kind of break character, so to speak, and just laugh. But yeah, that did it.
Yeah.
Well done.
That will happen sometimes here. 54 laps remaining here in this one. This is helping all the drivers who stayed out. Cochran, Cole, Pollock, and Valenti. Although Valenti is 10 laps older, or 10 laps, how do you say that? 10 laps less in the fuel tank than everyone in front of him as well. So he's in the worst position fuel-wise. I don't think he can make it under any circumstances. The 3 in front of him, it's going to be curious to see if they can end up getting there with the fuel the way that it is. But Caleb Jones and Matthew Montgomery, Jared Green, they can all make it without any question. So it's really to them about, if you cycle to the front, you're keeping the front the rest of the race.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And with Caleb Jones being the first car that is on those fresher tires now, and on the fuller fuel load here, so that's really what I'm going to be looking at. The third car in line on the inside there. Is he going to be able to do anything to get up here and challenge just on pure pace? But we've seen how important that clean air is.
Absolutely right. We got some drivers in the chat here who have said this is enough for them. One of those being Casey Bristow. He will park it in the 98 machine. No more for that machine. Great jump for the 0-2. He's already going to get up to inside of third.
Yeah, really nice jump there. As you can see, the 35 slid
Caution's
up
out
the hill
again.
a little bit. Caution is indeed out again. See the 5 involved with that. Stephen Gill. As we go back and take a look on the VSPEED instant replay. Already starting off a little bit about a lane up from where the outside lane was initially running. I believe he looks like he's just trying to stay out of people's way, though. So.
Oh, it started in front of him, actually. It was Cofield. And,
and
the 09 is where it started.
Yeah, the 5 was just an innocent bystander there and all of that. So apologies to him on my part there. Take a look at the 09 of Jeffrey Bourne right off of this restart. Aaron SB2 is inside. what happens as they get down into turn 1. Mark Cofield gets in just a little hot, gets into the 09, and
the other part of this is you got to look at where the 09 is on the racetrack compared to everyone else. We've seen routinely drivers be way up the racetrack in that situation. Let's ride on board here again. You're going to see everyone in front of him is up above the second hash. Right, 68, way up on the second hash. He's still straddling it. I think that Cofield behind him expects him to go higher up the racetrack, and just that doesn't happen. And involved in the accident he is.
Yeah, I think you're 100% there, that Mark was basically anticipating that the 09 was going to stay up a little higher, which didn't happen, but I can't really fault either driver for that.
No, it's a racing
it's
incident.
One of those
Absolutely.
typical Richmond, different lines, hard to anticipate sometimes.
Yeah, when you have a racetrack like most of the mile and a halves and Richmond, it fits in this one as well. When you have a racetrack that has a kind of a curved entry on one side and a flat entry on the other side, it really makes it difficult to determine where somebody's going to be on a restart, because you want to be as far as outside of the wall as you can on that curved entry so you can really dive down the racetrack. It's easy for somebody to just drive up the inside and kind of dive bomb that position, whether they actually go full send or not, and cause issues when you come down the racetrack. Happens all the time at a lot of different racetracks, and Richmond is probably the worst for it because of how short it is and how aggressive you have to do that turn in. It makes things difficult here more so than anywhere else for that situation.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And just a quick bit of housekeeping here as they are on the 1 to green. The 5 of Stephen Gill, 27 of Nicholas White, and 19 of Aaron Wright, all currently showing black flags. So the 5 was most likely just trying to get out of the way so he could come down and serve that penalty before that incident, but something that they'll still have to clear.
Yeah, absolutely. 47 laps remain here. Cochran's your leader. Pollock on the inside, who is pacing again well behind. Another easy jump here for the 8, who is your leader.
And an interesting choice there to take the high lane with the 0-2 of Caleb Jones on those fresher tires, starting behind him and now able to clear up for second. Would have thought that maybe he would have taken the inside to try to block that outside lane up a little. But as you can see a little further back there, they were 3 wide. The 61 of Zechariah Cartledge was trying to get in there 3 wide. Not quite enough for him to make it work. The battle is on
Cofield's
here.
around again. Incident limit invoked. Caution's out.
Yeah, definitely not the evening that Mark Cofield has been looking for. I think he's going to say, that's enough for me. And he's going to call it a night after that one as we take a look here on the VSPEED instant replay. See what exactly happened to that 97 car. Down in here into turn 1.
Loose on his own. I got a little bit of help.
Yeah, just loose on his own and then finished off after that.
Yeah.
But definitely started as a self spin there. Didn't quite get an opportunity to save it, but looks like that is going to be the end of the night for the 97.
And that will
So
bring down your leaders. This changes everything.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see that, to be honest, Morgan. I think Jacob Cochran realizing with those fresher tires now right up there on his outside or inside, depending on which lane he would pick, I think he realizes this is my best chance to win, is to come down, put fresh tires on it, and see if I can get back up there. He's definitely had the speed to do it all evening. Now it's just going to be a matter of whether or not he can survive the Hornet's Nest and get back up there.
Yeah, the tricky part is you're going to restart 10th with 40 laps to go here at Richmond, where the last 100 laps of this race, we've really struggled to go more than about 15 laps under green. Can you make those passes happen? As we've hit caution number 12 for the day. I think there was an over-under here to start the race at 10.5. We have smashed the over. We're not done yet. So things could definitely get a little bit out of hand here as we're going. So I'm curious, though. I don't think that this is going to work out very well for the 8, as well as Pollock and Cole and Bourne, who just pit. Stephen Gill's got the black flag still. Sean Warrobe. I don't think it's going to work for them. I guess Warrobe's a lap down, but I don't think it's going to be enough time, Daniel.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because even on top of that, you know, we had talked about it earlier that the 10 to 15 lap difference in tires didn't seem to be quite enough to get yourself back up to the lead. Right. Looking at it now, those leaders are on lap 17 of the stint, but there have been some cautions in there, so they really only have about 10 green flag laps or so on their tires.
That's right. That's right. And the only driver we've really been able to see those fresh tires work for is Cochran. Maybe he's got some magic somewhere. You know, maybe he can figure this out. But I think he may have thrown this one away on strategy if I was to call it at this moment in the race. I don't think it's going to work out for them, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a little disagreement over who's supposed to line up where they're on the second row. This leader does get lane choice, but after that, everybody else is supposed to line up inside or outside where you would normally line up. I think it caused a little confusion, but we are getting ready to go back green here. Really nice jump up on that high side for the 0-2 of Caleb Jones. Going to clear for the lead. Zechariah Cartledge now there in third behind Jared Green. He has been aggressive this evening. We've seen it out of him. Not afraid to stick the nose in there. He's going to look to the inside of Green, try to take second place as they get down into turn 3.
Not going to have momentum here off the corner. Green will clear for now. Here comes Matthew Montgomery. That is not what the 61 wants to see. Crossover from the 9. Cartledge going to drive it into the corner deep. But here comes the run off the corner. He gets loose. Here comes the 9.
Matthew Montgomery trying to take advantage, trying to look to the inside of Zechariah Cartledge. We've seen a lot of speed out of that 9 car tonight. Zechariah seems like he has good short run speed, but falls off a little after a few laps on the tires. Be interesting to see if he's been able to change anything up with that. And just taking a look a little further back at our running order, Jacob Cochran, the first one that came down and pitted, stuck right now in that 8th position there, side by side in front of him. Should be able to clear the 35 here of Valenti for 7th, but hasn't quite made the ground that he was looking for just yet, as he is able to finally clear up into 7th.
Gonna try and get around the 16 here. If he's able to do that, it'll be a little bit more smooth sailing. Looks like he will clear, oh, not quite off the corner. It was close, but it's not quite going to be enough.
Yeah, not quite able to complete that pass there, but was able to finally clear down in 1 and 2 with that tire advantage. Put the 8 of Jacob Cochran up into 6th. And right ahead of him, there is quite a battle going on here for the 3rd position. Toby Ritter's down there on the bottom. They're going to look 3 wide. I was getting ready to say, I think they're thinking better of it, but nope, they are still 3 wide through 1 and 2.
And here comes Cochran, going to try and get a 2 for 1. He might get Montgomery. I think he's going to get both of them here off the corner. Cartledge is the one who loses the most out of this situation. Oh, man, that has got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, Cartledge, the big loser out of all of that there. He lost a couple of spots out of that deal. As caution is out on the speedway.
Pollock.
That was the 92, and
yeah, that's not good for it. Something happened. Something put him there.
Yeah, I have to go back and take a look at what exactly happened here to him. Definitely been a frustrating night for the 92 of Pollock. He's been caught up in a couple different incidents.
Oh, Gino.
And this is another one that not of his doing, just nothing he can really do there. Wrong place, wrong time. See, he is slow at that point. The 35 is also slow. Yeah. And at that point, I don't believe the caution had actually come out yet.
Let's go back one more time here and see what happened to Valenti. I think he got loose on his own here. Could have got some help. Oh, he got slow and got hit by the 43.
Yeah, 68 caught up in that as well. Stephen McDonald.
I don't know
got
where
a
the
piece of
caution is, actually. I think it is for Pollock, but it just happened later.
Yeah, I think the 92 ended up, I'm not sure if he was trying to tow or he couldn't get it back around or what. I think if we watch down the back straightaway here with Pollock, I believe he just pulls it to the inside and ends up stopping and parking it.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah, not the day. Not the return Alex Pollock wanted. He's missed a number of races here for various reasons. And, yeah, he has had a rough night tonight, to say the least here. But we're getting closer, folks. 30 laps to go here in Richmond. Check out that recap again. 13 cautions continue to extend past the over. I know Jordan Bridges in the chat is excited because he set the over under 10.5, and I think you gotta make the number a little bit higher next time, as we hit that one with about 50 laps remaining in this one. It's Richmond. This is kind of expected. You know, I've seen a lot of leagues here race at this racetrack, including a VSPEED Invitational, the very first one. Come here to Richmond and the wheels entirely fall off. I don't know what it is about this racetrack that brings out the crazy in drivers. It almost is like a Bowman Gray sort of situation here, where there's just not enough respect given, and it causes incident.
Yeah, it definitely has a tendency to get wild. And actually, talking about Jordan Bridges in the chat, his official guess that he had earlier was 14. And I thought maybe he was overshooting a little bit, but we've got one more to go before he's hit the number dead on. So I'm not saying that I'm hoping for it, but he's looking a little smarter than me this evening.
Yeah, it's been quite a race. Quite a race so far. I think the pace car is going to hit the pit lane this time. Yes, we should be going green here. Green and Ritter's on the front row. Big jump by the 15 again.
Another good jump for the control car. You can see Cochran back up into fourth now. Actually,
O2's
looks
around.
like he is.
Oh, he saved it.
He's up into third.
Oh, they're
now.
still wrecking. No, they did wreck. Cartledge is around.
And that is number 14. The 0-2 of Caleb Jones also caught up in that as well in the Tide ride there.
This was a weird one for Jones. He kind of started with him. He got into the back of the 68, who just did not go on this restart. So the blue car on the bottom is the one that ended up having the incident. So O2 goes through a big slide, catches Hancock in the 09, then Cartledge just loses it all on his own. And the O2 drives right in the back of him.
Yeah, the Cartledge wreck was completely unrelated to what we were initially looking at there, or the spin rather, I should say, out of him. And then the O2 of Caleb Jones just gets into the back of him when he was stopped on track. So, yeah, you are 100% correct. That was definitely an odd wreck there.
Yeah, I would agree on that for sure. We got a lot of drivers as well who have hit the incident limit and have gotten DQs throughout this race. Sean Warobe is one of them. Alex Pollock, I believe, is too damaged to continue. Mark Cofield has some issues. Nicholas White as well. Aaron Wright has left already. Casey Bristow has left already. David Moyer, Landon Charlo out of the race as well. So we are quickly dropping cars. I mentioned about lap 60 or 70 in this race, how it was very impressive. We almost hit halfway and had every driver on the lead lap. Well, that has changed since then, Daniel.
That has indeed changed. And as you mentioned, a lot of drivers having the incident point issues, having the having the incidents that they were caught up in, that itself may have ended their night. Even looking inside of our top 10 right now, Enoch Hancock was running up there. He's got a black flag that he'll have to serve. So, there's still quite a lot to go through here in these last 25 or so laps once we get back green. And, we were talking about Jacob Cochran in the 8 car. Did he make the right decision with pitting there? Going to be on the front row for this restart. So if he can get just a couple of green flag laps in, he may be able to get around that 15 to retake the lead.
Yeah, I definitely did not envision, you know, half the field in front of him crashing to give him the spots that he needed. But that's where we find ourselves at this point in time. So, I mean, he's done what he's had to do for sure. I'm not discounting anything Cochran's done behind the wheel in this one. But look at SB as well. Is back up in the top 3. Matthew Montgomery has made his trek back to 4th. I mean, the cream is still at the top of this field here with the 8, the 3, and the 9. Those 3 have been 3 of the fastest all year long. All we're missing is the 61 who just crashed on his own and brought out this most recent caution. He's back in 9th, so still not a bad day by any stretch, but yeah, this has been quite a race so far.
Yeah, and it looks like we've actually added a lap here, I believe, to the caution. So, going to be one more lap of pacing before we get back rolling. But yeah, there's been some drivers that, with all the chaos and carnage, have been able to have a nice rebound here. Aaron Espy was driving he was driving one of those modifieds earlier with the whole front end missing off of that car.
You bet.
Has used his fast repair, but still being back up there in the top 5 with a chance at a podium and even a chance at a win. Not something that I would have had in the cards for him with how his night started off.
And a few good runs for other drivers. Stephen McDonald is 5th, Michael Cole 6th, Caleb Jones in 7th, Jeremy Bourne with a black flag is 8th, Cartledge in 9th, and Valenti in 10th. I mean, good runs for these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And then even seeing Stephen McDonald up there as well, somebody that we haven't seen up in the top 5, but we are back under Green. Jared Green in the 15, able to clear for the lead, but Jacob Cochran is right in his tire tracks. He's actually going to look to the inside here off of turn 2. They're going to be side by side for the lead. Down into turn 3 and 4, Jacob Cochran trying to take advantage of those fresher tires.
What a run off the corner. He's going to get the spot. He's clear. Can do whatever he needs to do with it. He's absolutely going to take that spot away from the 15 of Green. And now the question for Green is, can he hang on? Oh, he's going to go back. He's going to battle back here with Cochran.
Yeah, really good run there for Jared Green. I thought for sure that when Cochran got the lead, he would just set sail with that tire advantage. But Jared Green trying to take the fight to him and hang with him here. So far, able to do so. It's like he gets just a little tight off the turn there. Let's take a look a little further back. The 0-2 of Caleb Jones still rolling here this evening, trying to get into the top 5. He's been sideways. He's been knocked around a little bit, but still in it here and still got a chance for a really solid finish.
Absolutely, he does. And currently up in 6th position, chasing down Mr. Espy himself, as Michael Cole is trying to keep the 4th position away from Aaron Espy. Able to do it, at least for that lap.
And doing a really nice job of hanging on here. Michael Cole still holding that 4th position, but Caleb Jones is on the charge right now, trying to make up some of that ground that he lost earlier. See him running that middle lane, carrying a lot of momentum, had to lift just momentarily there for the lap car as they went by, but he is on the comeback trail right now, trying to get back up there and make some noise before this one ends.
Yeah, O2 just caught the wall a little bit off the corner. Doesn't look like it's going to hurt the handling at all. 3 wide. Oh, that's... I don't know.
We've seen this not work a few times, but Aaron Espy wisely backs out of that one. I got to give him credit on that. That is not an easy decision to make at this stage of the race, but it was definitely a smart decision to make at this stage. As the 0-2 of Caleb Jones now back into the top 5. Zechariah Cartledge just behind in 6th, able to clear as well.
And battle for 2nd still rages on as well. Montgomery trying to get around Green. Montgomery with the same 43 lap old tires as Green. Cochran's got 27 lap old tires, and Michael Cole behind him, also 27 lap old tires. Working on lap traffic as well.
Really good job here by these 2 drivers with those little bit older tires, as you mentioned, hanging on to the 2nd and 3rd positions. It seems like Matthew Montgomery might be just a little bit faster right now but just not quite able to complete that pass. Just missing a little bit as the 02 is coming down pit road here. It looks like he has a black flag for incident count limit. So that is, at this stage of the race, with the ground that he had made up, that is a heartbreaker for the 02 to have to come down and serve that penalty this late.
Definitely frustrating. That's just a real bummer. Driver running up in the top 5 was going to have his best finish of the year, more than likely. But not today, not in Richmond, not this time.
He's already back out on track here, blending in a lap down. Still in the top 10, though, even with being a lap down. And actually, he's got a full lap advantage over 11th place right now. So, at the very least, at this point, he's pretty well guaranteed a top 10, but still, as you had mentioned, just frustrating when you were up there in the top 5 and making ground.
Yeah, for sure. He's right up over Toby Ritters, trying to go get a top 5 away from Zechariah Cartledge. As they work through a little bit of lap traffic. Jeffrey Bourne got a lot of damage on the left rear of that 09 truck, or 09 car.
They do a really nice job working around there. Continue to ride on board with Toby Ritters. You see Zechariah Cartledge just a little bit loose there off of turn 2. Catches the wall just a touch going into turn 3. It looks like he's really struggling with that car in the center, specifically to 3 and 4 there. Toby Ritters going to take a look to the inside here, but not quite close enough to try to make the dive.
Well, big exit. That's what he's looking for here. He's going to get it. Can't quite get to the inside. He might ship it off into the corner here. Yeah, you're right. Cartledge is really struggling center off the corner, which is where you make speed at this racetrack. Ritters is taking it easy on the entry to really be able to roll the center. He's got room to the yellow line. He's going to go ahead and take that spot. That's how you do it.
Tight together, though. Wow, that was a good move by Toby Ritters to be able to clear. I thought they were going to make more contact than that off the exit, but good job by both drivers to be able to get through there.
As Montgomery has finally gotten around Jared Green. And Green's going to give a little shot, a little how do you do. Here comes the 02, who's a lap down.
Yeah, the 02 of Caleb Jones kind of has to be thinking, what if right now, showing that he has the speed to hang with these two, maybe even put some pressure on us. Jared Green going to try to look back to the inside of Montgomery, not quite able to make it stick through there. Montgomery with the momentum on corner exit, he's going to be able to hold that position.
And Ritters passes Cole with ease. Ritters up to 4th. Trying to chase down now Jared Green, that red car at the bottom of your screen. That is the target for the 88. 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and Ritters is the fastest driver on track right now, at least out of our top 5. Turned in the fastest laps of anyone, so he could potentially get there. I don't think he's going to be able to get up to the lead, but at least 2nd or 3rd, not out of the equation here at this point.
Cochran's up by 3 seconds. It'd take a lot to be able to catch that 8 machine, namely that yellow piece of fabric flying. But right now, he's coming to 5 laps remaining here at Richmond for what would be a dominating effort. Led 98 of the laps so far. Could lead over 100 here if it continues, as it looks it will. As it looks like it could, I should say.
Yeah, and he's doing a really nice job here, stretching that lead just ever so slightly over the 2nd place of Matthew Montgomery. He was actually almost a full 0.3 of a second faster that last lap.
Uh-oh, sorry, I thought caution was out. I'm sorry. I thought the caution came out. I heard him roll out of the throttle. I was like, oh no, it's going to happen. We're going to have another shootout here. At least not at this point.
Oh, don't say that, Morgan. Don't scare me like that. And you know, Bridges out there, the chat's got to be thinking, hey, I've hit this number right on. We definitely don't need another one. I want to show that I got this one right.
Tell you what, this 4th place battle, 3rd place battle, I should say, it's not over with 3 to go. Ritters caught him. Can Toby Ritters get around Jared Green and clinch a top 3 here? Oh, he's going to ship it to the outside. He might make the move right there. What a center. Oh, the contact.
Oh, they get together.
They're still wrecking each other. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how they kept it straight there, but
Wow.
they were able to
Jared
do so.
Green,
A lot
black
of
flag.
contact.
Incident limit
yeah.
for the 15.
You are 100% correct. That is the incident point limit for
Wow.
Jared Green. So by proxy, Ritter's going to get that position.
Unbelievable. And
But the
white flag,
is in the air.
it's out. Half a lap to go for Jacob Cochran. Out of turn 4 for the final time. And the 8 is going to win in Richmond.
And just a really strong run for Jacob Cochran. We questioned if that decision to pit was indeed the right decision, and he proved that it was with driving back up to the lead. Really dominating performance here for the 8.
Well, aren't we foolish? He absolutely made that one happen. Drove from 10th to 1st in about 40 laps. And he will win here in Richmond. Wow. 4.7 seconds as well, the margin of victory. We'll watch the 8 do a little celebration here. Then take a quick step aside, come back with your results as well as interviews with your top 3, Cochran, Montgomery, and Ritters. Little Polish victory lap. And here comes the burnout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. You've been watching the National Sim Racing League Association ARCA Series here, presented by Diesel Laptops at Richmond. Be back after a word from our sponsors.
With Jonathan Parker, he locks it up in the Stage 1. Jonathan Parker, our Season 5 champion. Brian Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the post show here for the National Sim Racing League Association ARCA Series. Here is how it went down. It was a wild one. Here tonight, 14 cautions with 7 lead changes. Jacob Cochran led over 100 of the 167 laps to win from the pole. Matthew Montgomery, an eventful day, finishes second. Toby Ritter's a more eventful day, finishes in third, both over 4 seconds behind your race winner. Zechariah Cartledge somehow scrapes together a 4th place finish after crashing with about 30 to go. Michael Cole was quiet all day finishes in 5th. Espy had a rough day, finishes 6th. Stephen McDonald in 7th. Jared Green must have had an issue. He was run. Oh, he had the black flag, of course, with a couple laps to go, finishes in 8th. Caleb Jones, first car 1 lap down in 9th. Enoch Hancock, first car 2 down in 10th.
Taking a look at some of our other finishers here this evening. The 35 of Gino Valenti coming home in 11th. Jared Bourne coming home in 12th. In 13th is going to be the 5 of Stephen Gill. I'm sorry, Jeffrey Bourne. I don't know where I got Jared Bourne from when I said his name there, but I want to correct myself really quick on that. In 14th place, we've got the 2 of MJ Palmer. Coming home in 15th is going to be Dustin Lewis in the 33 car. 16th place is going to go to Sean Warham in the 20. Alex Pollock coming home in 17th. Mark Cofield coming home in 18th. And then in 19th, we've got Jameel Gills with Nicholas White coming home in, or I'm sorry, that's Bristow coming home in 20th.
At 21st will be either Nicholas White or Justin Shaw. The left at the same time will finish about in the same position. That's 21st and 22nd. We've also got David Moyer, Landon Charlo. Yeah, definitely an interesting running order here at the end. Aaron Wright as well in that group. So the timing sort of gets a little bit muddled when drivers have black flags. So those drivers are your final 5 in the race, however. Well, now it's time for interviews. Hopefully some happy drivers. I think we definitely got some upset drivers around this event here, around this facility still, but let's catch up with 3rd place, Toby Ritters. Toby, it's Morgan and Daniel up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
All right. Well, it was quite an eventful day for that 88. Started up in 7th, had some issues, went to the back of the field. Strategy was all over the place with our 14 cautions. You end up in 3rd after a spirited battle with the 15. Just kind of give me, what was it like behind the wheel of this car here tonight?
It felt great. I didn't get much practice in. I was having some audio issues, so I kind of was cut short on practice. But I felt like I had a second place car. I know Matthew deserved that second place finish also, but I honestly do. I felt like I was second to Jacob from what I was seeing. I might be wrong, but yeah, I had to come back up through the field a few times, and it was a little scary a few times. And me and that 15, he pushed up into me. I know it was an accident, but I thought that was going to be my race. But we pulled through it, buddy.
Absolutely, ended up inheriting that 3rd place after the black flag on the 15 for the incident point limit. So a little bit of a little stroke of luck there as well. But I think you were probably going to get him on speed anyway. You were able to avoid quite a few incidents here tonight just by being in the positions that you were, and then strategy was all over the place. What was your philosophy on strategy tonight? Were you listening to the teammates at Aaron Espy Racing, or were you kind of just flying solo? How did you end up making the decisions you made tonight to come to pit road when you did?
Well, to be honest with you, that last pit stop was kind of my own choice. Me and my team work together throughout every race when we go to pit and stuff. And I knew Jacob had fresher tires than me, so I knew there wasn't going to be a chance to get a win against Jacob because he's already got the fastest car out there, you know. So so I figured I'd try to get some fresher tires to maybe I'd have a little bit of an edge, but I had a problem getting to the front fast enough to be able to contend for a position with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you on that one. And while we got you up here, you probably got your stream going as well. But what do you want to say to the people watching here on VSPEED? We got 16 of us still in the chat. What do you got for us, Toby?
I'd like to thank you guys and your amazing broadcasting. You guys are great. You do a great job each and every week. I'd like to thank all my fans and everybody that watches me. I'd like to thank the dear Lord above. I'd like to thank Aaron Espy and my teammates, Jacob Cochran, and all my good buddies that I race with. Yeah, that's about it. And I'd like to thank Spanky Motorsports and my boss, Russ Ludwig. And yeah, that's probably about it. And my channel, Ace High Racing.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Toby. Congratulations on that 3rd place finish. It was well earned.
Thanks, boss. Appreciate you.
The 3rd place finisher, Toby Ritters. Now, one step up the podium, Daniel Cunningham has caught up with Matthew Montgomery.
Indeed, I have. Matthew Montgomery, this is Daniel and Morgan up in the VSPEED booth. You got me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Well, hey, you had a really solid run tonight, finishing second. It was a wild race, to say the least. Just what do you think that you needed to be able to get up there and try to contend with Jacob Cochran to get that win tonight?
An 8 on the side of my car would have been nice.
One away.
It just anytime I was trying to like pit strategically to get ahead on strat and stuff, and then anytime I would get in a decent position, another caution would come out, and I'd be behind on tires all night. So it was a lot of, just trying to survive on older stuff. But no, Jacob was by far the fastest guy tonight. I mean, I felt like I was up there. I had decent speed, but just struggling in traffic. I mean, guys that like I felt like I was faster than, but it's kind of tough to pass around here. And so just being off strat, and then not like I said, just the 8 was by far the fastest car on night. So I didn't have anything for him. It would have taken some kind of strategy call or him, getting hit by somebody late. But I just, like I said, struggled to get through traffic and was way off on the tire strat.
Understand that. And you had mentioned a tire strategy, with Richmond kind of being known a little bit for different tire strategies and things of that nature. Did you kind of come into the race with any kind of predetermined strategies, or was it one of those where you just tried to react and anticipate what others around you were doing throughout the race?
It was reactionary. The amount of cautions, really, I mean, 14 cautions through a huge loop and everything tonight, it felt like. I was hoping to go green. I felt really good with my long run pace. And like I said, I feel like I needed it to go green to have, the strat that I wanted to come into play out, because I was going to run it long. But then there towards the end, with all the cautions coming out, you're trying to time your stops to where, you're having to pit, less, so you have the freshest tires at the right time, or you're making sure that you're good to go on fuel at the end. So yeah, like I said, it was very reactionary and very difficult to stay ahead of, just because of all the cautions. And then, like I said, you've got 20 something different cars doing 20 different things, and just made it really difficult. So like I said, I'll take second, especially as fast as the 8 car was. I think second's pretty solid. I haven't had a really good string of races leading up to this, so I'll take what I can get.
Well, yeah, definitely a really solid result. Hopefully this is the beginning of more solid runs for you to kind of turn things around. Before we let you go tonight, who you want to thank, any sponsors or shout outs?
I mean, I want to shout out Team Apollo. So Sam, Jordan, Jamil, all those guys. Like I said, Sam and Jordan couldn't make it tonight. They're out of town, chilling with some family. So they'll be back in next week. Like I said, love running with them. West Texas Pepper Traders. Like I said, if you catch them at your local HEB or peppertraders.com, be sure to get some of those. My amazing wife, Morgan, for putting up with me turning left every now and then on an imaginary simulation thingy over here. Since I don't get a chance to do this in real life. And then JCR, another group I run with. So, and then like I said, you guys for putting this on. Like I said, it's fun to go back and watch. You guys do a really good job. So I don't know if Morgan Cook's in there tonight, but
Sure am.
tell him what's up. Oh, hey, sweetie, how you doing?
Doing good. Good.
Yeah, I said we got an off week tonight, but it's fun banging doors with him on truck nights. So, yeah, like I said, that's it for me, man.
All right, well, there you have it from our second place finisher, Matthew Montgomery. Congrats on the solid run, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to you again before the season's out.
I hope so. Appreciate it.
All right, and Morgan, I believe that you have caught up with our race winner here, who's been patiently waiting, Jacob Cochran.
Jacob, Morgan, Daniel up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to VSPEED Victory Lane one more time this season. Started on pole, led 104 of the 167 laps, and I believe you had the fast lap of the race. Yes, you did. So, simply lovely. Once again, I mean, how do you keep doing it here at these short tracks?
I mean, I don't know. Growing up, racing them, not these, but short
Also,
tracks
can you
in
mute the
general.
broadcast in the background?
Oh, yeah, my bad. Hold up.
I hear myself asking you a question as you're answering a question. It's too much.
I'm sorry, Morgan, but your calming voice during the race just gives me that extra edge.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
No, I mean, growing up, running short tracks, that it definitely helps. I mean, you just got to understand it, save the tires, and not push it too hard. I mean, you can really, really push these things really, really hard for maybe half a tenth of a gain and burn the tires tremendously more. So you got to find that line. But we just I don't know. Richmond's just it's been good to me.
Yeah, it definitely has been. You won here earlier in the week on Wednesday, and you mentioned to me in the pre-race or before the race started that you'd never driven this car at this racetrack before, but you said it was the best car you've ever driven at a track that you love. Was that still true after we had that rain delay to start this race? Was the track still the same as it was before that delay?
Yes, yeah. They did a good job of kind of getting everything situated to where the track was pretty much the same. Um, but yeah, I mean these cars, I'm not a huge fan of them, but at this track, the setup was I thought was on par. I mean, we were hitting the chip going down into one. That was cool, man. I mean, that's short track racing. You go to a late model race anywhere in the country, and those guys are hitting the chips as they're going off in the corner. So that's just that's fun. The car was loose. You actually had to kind of play with the throttle to get it to turn, and and you played with it too much, you were going around on the exit. So this track, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you had a great handle on it. I'll ask you one last question here before we get to who you want to thank and shout out. But you pit with about 40 laps to go, well, all the way back to 10th. Was there a concern? There was definitely a concern up here. You heard it on the broadcast if you were listening to us the whole time. Was there a concern in your camp that you guys weren't going to be able to make it up to the front?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to pit, obviously, but I, we were, I think, 10 to 15 laps from the good on fuel, and I was, if we kept getting cautions, we could make it, but my luck, um, we were going to go green and I was going to be short. So I just elected to pit on that last stop, just to get it over with, essentially. Get tires, get fuel, be good to the end, and then just stay out, whatever happened out from there. So thankfully, we were able to get through and get back to the front.
Yeah, clearly the right strategy as you end up in victory lane with the most laps led and all the other accolades I mentioned at the start of the interview. Well, now it's time, Jacob. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out? And who do you want? What do you want to say to the fine people here at VSPEED?
Yeah, I want to shout you out, obviously, Morgan. You guys are the best in the business. VSPEED always do a great job on every broadcast y'all guys do. And shout out my team, Aaron SB Racing, Aaron and Toby Ritters, and Dustin Lewis. We think we had a pretty good night tonight. Shout out my sponsors, Downtown Auto Sales. We had it all over the car. Kind of a little plain paint scheme, but it's kind of an old school too, so it looked good in my opinion. But I thank Andy Barry for putting the league together and get it going, and Diesel Laptops for sponsoring the league.
Awesome. Well, that's your winner tonight, Jacob Cochran, winning again on a short track. This time it's Richmond. Congratulations, sir, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.
You bet. Another short track next week. Could we see 2 in a row for Jacob Cochran? Definitely possible as we head over to Bristol. But that is going to do it. That's going to wrap up the post-race show. And Daniel, this National Sim Racing League Association event here at Richmond, presented by Diesel Laptops. It was quite an event tonight. What are your thoughts?
It was definitely a wild one, as it tends to be at Richmond whenever you race here. You had mentioned it. There's other series that we've seen that have raced here, and it seems like it just brings out the crazy sometimes, but definitely led us a lot to talk about here this evening as as we get down into the home stretch of this NSRLA ARCA series.
Absolutely right. If you thought this one was crazy, just wait till next week when we go to Bristol, the home of crazy. That place is unbelievable. Those concrete corners and the concrete straightaways, that little bull ring they got going on down there. Crazy racetrack. Definitely going to want to tune into that one. Same time, same place here next week on VSPEED. And for everyone who makes this thing possible, everyone at the National Sim Racing League Association, Aaron Espy, Alex Pollock, Brett Ridd, David Moyer, Jacob Cochran, Stephen Gill, of course, Andy Barry, and anyone else who I've missed in that list, all the admins who make these races go on and fix the things in the background that you and I never get to see. Appreciate them giving us the opportunity to broadcast these events here on VSPEED. And for everyone here at VSPEED, take an opportunity to go like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action. But for Bradley, Adam, Eddie, all the other commentators and producers, Logan, Lucas, big shout out tonight to Daniel Cunningham for working alongside me. Give me some great color commentary. Thank you to Dougie Beard for providing us with the sim cams we used this evening. I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time here on VSPEED.